Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Yo, what's up?
So I actually have a confession to make. I got Would You Rather this morning by my production team. Apparently, there's a good one on YMH.
Oh yeah, they do some good ones from time to time. Most of theirs are too spicy for.
No, this one could work.
Oh, okay.
Well, lay it on us. What was it?
It was would you rather? I think it was something about when you burped, you threw up a little in your mouth, or when you farted, you shit your pants.
That is totally on brand with us.
I was like, well, I already do
Yeah.
both in a lot of cases. So, but if I had to pick, I think I would just throw up a little in my mouth because less cleaning up. You can just rinse.
No, it makes sense because the genie would amplify whatever it was. Like, so if you already kind of did it, he'd make sure you'd know now.
Yeah, you full on projectile vomit every time.
Oh, that's just too much. Nobody wants that. You couldn't keep any calories in. You got to keep the calories.
No, that is a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah, they got me good with that, and I was like, oh man, I feel like I'm on the show. I was like, what is happening? It's 8 a.m. What is going on?
Yeah, submit all would you rathers to Wyatt online. Because a lot of people have good ones, but they spoil it by telling us. And the Long John Silver's one from last week was actually.
Oh, God.
That was Arthur's, yeah.
That was one of those ones that we know, but I got some DMs on that. So I got a DM from a guy. Let me see if I can pull it up it was on Instagram. In response to Long John Silver's. And that was last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
And it was, God, how many DMs does a motherfucker get?
Oh, man.
He was like, thank you for calling out the absolute shit show that is Long John Silver's. He's like, it basically ruined my trip to the United States once. Like he's international.
Wow.
And then I was like, yeah, I can't believe they still exist, right? Then he goes on to continue. He's like, yeah, in Florida, Long John Silver's in Florida. It not only ruined his trip, but his relationship.
Oh my God.
Like, so basically the cumulative weight of being in Florida and in Long John Silver's, he's like, I blame that experience for ruining my relationship and my entire international trip.
Wow.
Then Arthur listened to the show and he called me and he was like, oh my God, you finally did it. You finally did it. But he was like, man, hold on a second. He wanted a whole corporate dive on their whole tax structure, their business structure.
Of course he did.
He was like, how do these guys still exist? How does this company fucking exist? He was looking up the CEO, everything, dude. He's like, this shit is laughable, dude. He's like, it must just be a bunch of OG franchise locations because there's no new Long John Silver's. They're like the KFC / Long John Silver's. He basically said they should have thrown in the towel in like 2017 when they won the country's most unhealthy meal award.
That was an award?
Not really an award. It was like just a fact. But that's how they phrased it. Like 1,300 milligrams of sodium.
Ugh.
In one of their meals.
Ugh.
Like number 3, please, 1,300 milligrams of sodium.
God.
What?
And that's you can't, because it's frozen food, you can't taste a lot of that. So you're gonna naturally put more salt on the shit when you eat it.
Or they are. It's 1,300 milligrams of sodium. He's like, throw in the towel. He was very mad when he went on his corporate rant on them. He was like, just throw in the towel. God damn it.
I feel my arteries
Pack
shutting
it in,
down.
man.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, that's a good segue into this week's Would You Rather. Roll out to to Wyatt's Cable Wonders.
Would you rather teleport anywhere But teleporting to a location causes a large storm for 12 hours, like at that location. Or you can be insanely lucky, like max luck stat. But anyone within 100 meters of you is very, very unlucky while you're nearby.
People or animals too?
Huh?
Like, does this include animals?
Yeah, people.
Like cats.
People.
And you said 100. Did you say 100? Did you give me a time? You said
no.
100 meters too?
Yeah, 100 meters.
100 meters is long. Like, if you're at your house, that's your neighbors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like a football field, man.
Yeah. Both of these are like equally kind of.
KR quit and trying to game, and he's like,
Yeah,
I'm taking lucky living in Vegas because you make everyone around you unlucky while you're lucky. If you don't already live in Vegas and you don't already gamble, you're gaming it. The genie will punish you.
Yeah.
Butthole spiders.
That's
100%.
true.
So you can't say I pick B and then you pack everything up and move to Vegas. Like, he's not going to be happy with you.
Mm-mm.
You have to live with your consequences. Like, you could do things like, okay, I'll play the lottery more often. Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I bet you could eventually work your way to Vegas. Like, let's say your job took you to Vegas. I'm pretty sure the genie would allow it. Like, or if you were like, I've been thinking about going to Vegas because it's better for my business taxes anyway, so I'm just going to make this official now. He'd probably let it ride.
I feel like there's only 3 types of people that go to Vegas. People that are tourists, people that want to move their businesses to Nevada because it's super good, and people that just want to turn tricks. I feel like those are the 3 types of people. So the genie's going to know.
No, but this is actually a funny one because it's almost like you can have a conversation. Suspend Shadowrun butthole spiders for just a conversation. Is that these are 2 legitimate superpowers. Okay?
At the cost of many, many people around you if you ever.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like X-Men superpowers, right? Like, motherfucker can shoot laser eyes, but he's literally can't. He has to wear special glasses, right? Like, Rogue is super, like, can do all these things, but she can't touch people, right? Like, Beast is like super baller, but he looks like a fucking Sasquatch. You know what I mean? Like, it's like there's like a consequence, right? So these are like superpower questions. I like this one, right? So it's not like you're giving us like eat a Long John Silver's or eat a fucking river cod like a savage. These are interesting. So I almost feel like for this one, you have to allow us to try to figure out how we would utilize our X-Men like superpowers. Because I like what Cletus said in chat. He was like,
I'll allow a little bit of leeway.
Because he was like, I'll take teleport and start and basically go end droughts for farmers and stuff. Like, so you're like kind of a weird version of like Nightcrawler and Storm, right? You can't go like, pow, it's raining, dog. You can't even control the intensity of the rain. You're like, it's gonna be a fucking tropical storm. I can't control it beyond that. It's going to be directly centered over my location. So I'm going to teleport into your fucking farm. I'm going to get into your cellar and we're going to play Xbox for 12 hours. Right?
What if they don't have infrastructure to handle a storm like that?
Yeah, but they're going to have to check out my website, and I'm going to have like my do's and don'ts on my website for using my service. Like, I don't want people to die just because like I'm trying to like irrigate farms. Like, it's an interesting, like, what a weird superhero. You know what I mean? Where like the lucky guy is kind of like kind of interesting because like for him to not be selfish and narcissistic would be a monumental effort, right? Like, I would love to pick the lucky one, right? But then I'm like, well, my partner, Boucher, is endlessly unlucky as long as she chooses to be my partner. Like, I mean, shit, she'd fucking fall down the stairs tomorrow. You know what I mean? Who knows? So like, I'd have to live a solitary life if I wanted to be like a superhero with that luck power. I had to like live a solitary life and like use my ability in strange ways, or just not give a fuck about the world. So like, yeah, one of them is like a superhero, and one of them is like a super villain.
Savage.
It's a solid point.
But also the storm guy could be a fucking super villain too. He could just be like, I don't care about anything, teleporting across the country.
Yeah, because if you teleport into like someplace that has flash floods, you know.
This just in, 16 tropical depressions just formed across the Midwest. Oh, I was just hitting up all the Long John Silvers and destroying them, guys. You're welcome.
I'm helping.
Oh my God, it's so crazy. I would take the Storm Chaser though. That'd be my superhero name too, like Storm Chaser.
Oh, okay. Solid.
That's why I already thought of it, like my head.
Man, I don't know. It's like the luck thing's too easy to game, but like I guess I'd just go with that one.
You'd have to isolate though, like forever, unless you didn't give a shit about people. I mean, if like they're as unlucky as you are lucky,
maybe they already are.
But like let's say it scales. Let's say not every day it's going to be the same degree of luck. I imagine there's some randomness to it. But let's say like you open up your emails and it turns out like you just inherited $10 million because of a bank error. You're like, got real lucky. At that same moment, somebody 100 meters from you might be receiving the exact amount of reverse luck. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can operate that way.
It's tough. Like you'd almost have to like model your life around it, you know?
If you were it's almost. I feel like it's almost unlivable. If it'd be an unlivable lifestyle. There's no way I can move forward in my life knowing I was doing that to people. So I'd have to self isolate. Like I had to like change my whole life. So then, if you were going to change your whole life, you might as well be a superhero. Figure out how to do
it the other way around. Like
join up, find a danger room, get a cool ass professor to train you how to use your abilities.
Gotta find all these people.
They can deploy you and you could just be like the most baller special forces. Like deploy this dude in hostage negotiations.
Bloop.
No, that sucked because then you walk in there and you're like, I'm super lucky. And then like everyone in there, including the hostages, is unlucky suddenly. No. That's rough.
Yeah, it could definitely go poorly.
I'm storm chasing.
Solid choice.
Yeah, because at least I can choose not to teleport. But I'd always want to.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was a good one.
Christopher, he's like, so if you get banished to the Shadow Realm with butt spiders for gaming the luck one, do you stay lucky in the Shadow Realm?
Oh, no. No.
Like, and do the spiders get suddenly unlucky?
No, you don't get to keep any abilities or fun things if you get sent to the Shadow Realm.
I think for this one, you have to Jin has to let us game this one.
Yeah, like I said, to an extent. To an extent.
Like I already live in California, so like I would definitely use my teleporting powers a lot more.
See, like I would let you be a superhero, but if you ever tried to make monetary gain from it, Shadow Realm.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because one is being altruistic, the other one is personal gain.
Makes sense. So I would basically already live here. We already suffer from a lot of droughts. So I would, instead of Ubering in the summer, I would do a lot of teleporting.
Probably help out.
Yeah, just help out with the storms, or just help out with the LA River. I'm not trying to get paid. I'm not even trying to be famous. It's just, I'm also going to teleport to Bakersfield like every other week though, like where that Long John Silver's is.
Did we drive through Bakersfield on the way to Vegas? It was literally 3 years ago. I keep getting all these memory things. It was 3 years ago, like these days.
I saw it. Yeah, we did. Good one, Wyatt. That was that's awesome. That one, I love that one. We're like superheroes in this one. Kara Quinn, Bakersfield, lol. Yeah, were you here last week, Kara Quinn? Like, I literally was like, "Where is the Long John Silver?" Bakersfield, California, full functioning OG. Zoom in on the parking lot, Google's map. Literally, there's a sign that says, "All you can eat fish, $11.99."
Ugh.
Blah.
Ugh.
Like, gross.
Somebody says the band Korn is from Bakersfield. And suddenly that makes so much sense.
Oh, do they still live there? Does Jonathan Davis maintain an estate there and come back and after his tours?
Maybe he's the franchise owner.
Oh, could be.
Maybe that was like part of his childhood and he wants to hang on to it.
Yeah.
I wonder, possible, but I think that he left Bakersfield and went to LA and became a fucking famous musician. And he bought the Long John Silver's and keeps it in business when it shouldn't be in business as kind of like a FU middle finger to Bakersfield. You have to smell this 24 hours a day, everyone around you. All right. Rob, you want to do some news for us?
I'd love to do some news. It's been a bit of a slow news cycle. If you're watching live, I want to show you this. I did a review. It's up on the YouTubes of the new Joy Toy Invictor Warsuit action figure. It's pretty dope. It's about as big as my head and torso. Tall.
It's so ballin'. He's holding a Primaris Marine in his hand.
Yeah, there's a little painted Primaris Marine in his claws.
Oh my god.
It's so customizable. It does so many things. You can swap out the weapons, but it didn't come with the flamer. The flamer's on the Space Wolf version, and it doesn't have a grip trigger finger. It doesn't have a pistol hand, basically.
Unfortunate.
The Space Wolf one does.
Of course.
Has those 2 bits. I was like, that's not cool. But other than that, everything else, it's painted well. It goes together well. It just looks dope, and you can do so many different poses with it. It's $150. I think the pre-order window closed on G-Dub's site, but you can find them on eBay.
I didn't even know you could do that. I thought you had to order them through places like Big Bad Toy Store and stuff.
No, G-Dub had a pre-order up, but it was a fulfillment in 180 days. So
gross.
They'll hit this summer, I guess. It's pretty dope. New release wise from GW going on pre-order this Saturday around 1 p.m. Eastern or equivalent time here in the States. The new White Dwarf 473. Now that's going to have rules that they've already leaked. We'll have them published up on the site tomorrow for the Magan Ra's Craft World and Beast of Chaos for Age of Sigmar. So it might be worth a pick up if you play both of those game systems. Warcry is coming out with his Tome of Champion book, currently $35. Then there's a bunch of Warcry expansion boxes. They're either $80, $60, or $75 because everybody can play in the 8 points now, I guess. They're kind of expanding it out. And the Zone Mortalis Underhive sector is $280. It doesn't look like there's a lot of value in that one until we see the exact sprues that come in it. But just eyeballing the picks doesn't seem like a good deal. And I'm sure it's going to go up when the price increases hit, which we'll talk about here in a second. On the trading card, big picture toy side of things, Hasbro announced their earnings on a call Monday. It looks like Wizards finally hit the 1 billion sales mark, Wizards of the Coast, so Magic the Gathering, etc., which is pretty huge in this space. Hasbro crushed it. Wizards was like half their revenue. And the one thing that they said that I think is going to have a lot more repercussions in the current era, we'll call it, is that they're going to focus more on direct to consumer sales and also digital sales. And that was just Hasbro as a whole. Cause Hasbro has their Hasbro Pulse, where you can crowdsource a lot of projects and things. I think the most recent one was the G.I. Joe Striker, F-14 Tomcat from back in the day. They're redoing it. There was a Rancor up on there, which wasn't as cool at the time. Now it might be a little bit cooler, but that window has closed. Wizards is selling boxes of Magic cards direct on Amazon. And there's a whole bunch of things just making it hard on your local game store. So, as always, with your hobby dollars, whatever hobby you're into, because we all want that place to go and play. And I think probably more now than ever in the way that the world is. I got a set of paintbrushes from Ghost Brush, Sleepwalk Air. They launched a Kickstarter, I think on Monday, I want to say, for a set of terrain brushes, a little bit bigger size brushes, some wedges and stuff. They've done a couple of these Kickstarters, Their brushes, they're synthetic. Me personally, I like synthetic brushes for detail work. I don't like synthetic brushes for washes and things because they just don't hold as much material. But they're super affordable. And for $30, you can get 11 brushes, their old set and their new set on their Kickstarter. I think it's definitely worth checking out. Everybody's got their thing about brushes. You can get super expensive, $80 brushes. You can get the mid-range stuff. I personally, I use a lot of different paint brushes out there, and people are like, which brushes do you use? I'm like, dog, whatever works. Like, just not the crap from Walmart, So just check it out. It's definitely worth, maybe picking up, because getting some nice brushes that won't wear out, that are larger for vehicles and terrain, is always kind of a little bit harder to find, I feel like. So check that out. Victoria Minis announced that they're taking their Adepticon pre-order. So if you want to order a bunch of stuff from Victoria Minis, pick it up at Adepticon, save some shipping, etc. You can get those orders in right now. And there's also a new fan group over on Facebook. If you want to interact and, show off some of your painted miniatures and things, engage with folks that really enjoy all her offerings there, and PropWorks too, because they got a whole line of orcs now. And GameMat.eu got a terrain set restock in. So they're still getting stuff in. It's obviously everything's a little bit slower and a little bit more costly, but if you're waiting to pick up a painted set of terrain or two from GameMat.eu, now might be the time to go check that out. So they've got all that up. I think we talked a little bit last week about Puppets War Patreon. They reached out to me to do a little promotion for it. I don't have them handy. I got some of their miniatures in, printed them out, did a little review of them. And what I really like about them is that they have the pre-rendered holes for magnets. So if you want to modularize, your weapons and things and already future-proof your minis, it's pretty dope. Their designs are pretty fresh, and I wouldn't feel bad about putting them on the tabletop and playing with them. So, super dope. Definitely check it out this month. I think this might be the month that a lot of people jump on board to their Patreon offering there. And I guess we can talk a little bit about the GW price increases. So a lot of being said out there. There is 3,145 different price increases across Forge World, Lord of the Rings, Necromunda, Titanicus, all their main lines, their sidelines, everything. Paintbrushes didn't go up, and I don't think they are raising prices in some of the Asian and Oceanic regions, which is probably good because they're already getting arbitrage pretty bad, unfortunately. Now, that being said, it's 2022. Everything's going up, right? Like, I think everybody can agree on that. But it's hard for GW to make moves these days without getting a lot of, pushback from the hobby. And I think, $60 is quickly becoming the new normal for a lot of squads. And I think, it's going to be tough for people out there they're going to have to make some hobby choices. I think very soon, that, might affect things. Now, some of the more expensive kits, like, the Dominus class Knights, not going up at all, but stuff like some Greater Demons going up to, $181 US. So we published a whole list over on Spiky Bits. You can check it out with the percent price increases over there. On everything. The spreadsheet itself was the final version of multiple drafts. Actually, they put a little too much information in that spreadsheet that kind of makes me believe that they went into it with not half cocked. Like they did. There's some back and forth across departments, I would imagine, on the price increases. So all of it's set to go in place on March 7th, which means you got about a month to find the stuff you're looking for at the current prices before things go up. So, maybe check the sheet, kind of try to find what you can, and save those hobby dollars. You gotta spend money to save money, right? We say that from time to time.
Yep, that's your mantra.
and vote with your hobby dollars, of course. So there's that. It's good, it's bad, it's not unexpected, but I would say not exactly welcome.
So if you were about to pull the trigger on buying a bunch of stuff, like you're like, oh, I want to buy this Space Marine stuff, but I don't know.
I feel like now would be a good time to just
eyeballing all that stuff at your local game store for like the last 2 months. Go buy it.
And I think I don't know how this is going to sound, but you can't go wrong with buying really anything GW at its smallest like offering, like at its squad level, at a kit level. You really can't go wrong, because as long as you keep it in a box, you're going to probably most likely get close to what you spent on it back on the secondary market, because everything is so.
Yeah, I mean, Kara Quinn just said everything in his closet is going to go up in price too.
Well, that too.
So I mean, like worst case scenario.
Yeah,
it goes into your plastic pyramid of shame, new in box. 3 years from now, there's been 2 more price hikes, and you just sell it on eBay and actually make a sick profit, right? Or you painted it all, and then later you don't give a shit about it, and you go to sell it, and intrinsically the value of the models went up. Right. So it's pretty interesting how a lot of your GW stuff holds its value.
And then there's so many avenues just to buy into this stuff without paying the price that Games Workshop posts. I mean, probably most FLGS stores will have GW retail at 10, 15% off.
Yep.
I know a lot of stores, they're not allowed to like advertise.
Right. You can't
20% off, but a lot of stores will sell 20% off, like on the shelf. And stores do sales, like they're allowed to do that. So if, I don't know, maybe like if you have like a local store and they're doing some kind of like summer sale, at the like maybe at the end of the school year is when a lot of those stores will do big sales, as the kids get out of school, things like that. Just look there.
I worry personally, knowing the retail trends and the GW trends and the reporting trends, what their 1 year report is going to look like this June. Because a lot of stuff has happened. A lot of people's buying habits, I think we could all agree, has changed. Eldritch Omens did not sell out from GW. A lot of retailers are saying, while the pre-orders were more than, previous box sets like Shadow Throne or Hexfire, it wasn't like Indominus, like OMG, I'm going to buy this and just bank right now.
Well, I think it's 2 factors. Is like one, Chaos is in a really bad state and everybody knows it. So there wasn't enough new plastic on the Chaos side to entice most Chaos players.
But also, isn't it, weren't we all kind of shocked to learn that Tyranids was coming out before Chaos?
Yeah. And then also like Eldar historically has been one of the lower population factions in the wider 40K community for basically its entire existence. So, I mean, like,
it's a classic. We brought this up, I think, during their annual report, and it was like, you need to stop jamming like a low selling army into like a popular army box, thinking that that's what we want.
I mean, if it was just like the half, and they like, let's just say they start doing like events with these cool fancy names and artwork and all that stuff, right? But when you actually go to get this stuff, it's just you want the Chaos box or you want the Eldar box. Mm-hmm. You buy what you want, because a lot of people are still struggling to be like, hey, does anybody want this half, because I don't want it.
What's interesting is like I actually thought about buying that box because of how sick the Eldar models were and also Chaos. But a lot of that was because I thought we were getting new Chaos Codex.
Yeah.
And then like a couple days later, I learned that we're not getting new Chaos Codex.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a bait.
And so then I was like, no, I'm actually like going to be like a little petulant about this now. Like, fuck this box.
Remember, when GW confirms something, it's a 3 month. It's within 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're looking at slightly Adepticon time or slightly after. There's still.
I mean, we're also kind of trained that if like a box set like this happens, it's going to coincide with
a release, and the whole internet's been talking about chaos. So it was like, oh, we're gonna get chaos and Eldar. This is so tight, and then suddenly it's like, no, it's gonna be Tyranids. I was like, in addition to your. Because it looked to me like, oh, they're not going to do the jam a thing into a thing. I was like, we're going to get two hype things that are very fucking cool. And we didn't. And it made me have literally the opposite emotion I had 48 hours previous to that day. Where I was like, under no circumstances am I buying this box now.
I'll be honest. Like, the new Chaos stuff, like, those models are cool, but they're not like, they're just not enough for me to want to buy them. Like, they're not a new unit, like Chosen already exists. So
no, the thing is, we talked about is like this model was hype. Could Portrayal of Calth, fucking Burning Prospero era, right? This like they need to get off this horse. Like this thing is dead. We don't care about.
So this is the pilot for all that. Like this is the first box set that had that many new miniatures. Like and remember the value in this box. At $30 more retail price is the same as Haxfire's to save a Shadow Throne within $5 or $10. So this is the first, and they could be seeing how it's doing. But remember, all this stuff is already predetermined 18 to 24 months ago. Like the stuff that's happening. Obviously, there's some wiggle room because of all the shipping delays and things, but they are set on this course. And what I'm saying is this course. I hope they have already changed their course.
Yeah, I hope they already made. Yeah, I hope this is like the last bits of the old course correction because it's not working. GW, these boxes aren't selling out anymore. People's habits have changed. We're not hype about this anymore. Whatever you want to fucking call it. I hope that this is like the last 2 or 3 you had in the pipeline. You know what I mean?
A lot of stores are over. Just go to your local store.
Carrick Wynn says his local store ordered 12. There hasn't moved one.
You have several stores in your area. You're going to see Battle Forces. You're going to see Dominions. You're going to see Black Templar boxes. They're stocked. They're overstocked. Fury of the Deep. They got, at some point, this stuff is going to have to move. And who knows what that pivot, these stores are going to start dumping stuff. Yeah. They're going to have to.
The pre-order cool box game is done. It is no longer interesting to the fucking.
I don't know if it's done. I think
that the model is shifting to where like the go halvesies with your buddy on stuff is just failing to garner as much interest as it used to, especially if you don't have that ready to go, right? Because then it's kind of like, well, I could buy Shadow Throne, but do I think I could pawn off these GSC models to somebody I know? Mm-hmm. Like that interaction is becoming harder and harder to do. And I think it's like, if they want to make these value boxes where they bundle some new shit with some old shit, like they just need to make it that. Like if you want to do like this new Warp Smith and these dope new Chosen and then throw in a Mauler Fiend, like just make that the box, and you can still make it this event. Like you can still market it as like this Eldritch Omens event.
No, you can, but like here's another thing. We just talked about the price hike. So this value, the general population is onto it now. GW doesn't offer discounts. They add value, but they fictionally determine the value that they are quote unquote adding. And they're just put out over 3,000 price hikes that are coming in a month. Okay. And Rob said some of them are as high as 20%. So it kind of like when spending habits are already changing, the way we are interacting with the hobby is changing. We're maybe not as hype about these boxes as we used to be. And then suddenly all that stuff they did with Dominion and stuff that left a bad taste in people's mouths and all that shit. Take all of this information and then like look at an article about how shit's going up 20% in some cases. And you're like, wait a minute. So this box, everyone's telling me, but I get $220 worth of shit for $150. But wait, that $220 worth of shit I'm getting is literally based on this fictional fucking price guide they made up. Fuck this.
I mean, yeah, in GW makes sense, but in actual money, it's like meh. But which, by the way, the box has gone up to $210. So if stores reorder it,
there's a tipping point. There is a moment when that factor will no longer make me think I'm getting a value. It's what all I see now is I'm spending $220.
The value proposition. That's all I'm seeing now. The value proposition for a lot of the offers from GW has it's kind of just not there. And, you know, you can point to a lot of different reasons. It's just not there. And people need that in their lives right now. And I think until we see that again, it's going to be a struggle. And you can point to the stock and you'd be like, stock's still up, it's up. But, you know, just ask yourself this question. GW always posts all of their new posts on Warhammer community. They always share it to Instagram. Click here. Facebook. Click here. Go read our post. Every social media. Click here. Go read our post. They put this price change post out at like 4 a.m. Kind of snuck it out in the early morning. Not a peep about it on their social medias. None of them. It's possible they just didn't want to see, you know, their stockholders, their folks to see this and see the replies and see the questions that are brought up.
I mean, since we started our show today in the pregame show, it's come up like 40 times. Like, you're right. I think that's a solid deduction, brother. Like, and here's something. And here to my point, Stereodad in chat says the problem with the box is it's sub 20 models. You see the tipping point, the value added concept has a tipping point, and in that equation, it is how many models to what my value perceive is. So it gets to be an impossible pill to swallow when it's like, but guys, it's a $300 value. Dog, there's 19 models in this box. Fuck you. Back in Prospero Burns and Proterro Calth days, we were getting, you know, $300 worth of stuff for $150.
Yeah, and it was a no-brainer.
And it was actually like, Dreadnought, 5 Custodies, and fucking 10 Terminators, and this and that. Like, it was like actual shit, man.
Yep.
So that there's a moment when the optics deteriorate so much, you can no longer convince me it's a value. Even though, like, sure it is based on your price guide that you are the arbiter of, but like, I hope they're changing course, because we already know their sales were down viciously last year, and licensing and IP kept them in the game. We're going to see this report, their annual soon. And I'm just hoping that they understand, man. Like, and nothing they do is going to make them go out of business. They're going to fucking go out of business because of this.
Their mass will just keep them going.
Like, it's just, I love GW. I love the fucking innovation. I love the plastic kits. I love the lore. I love the IP. I love fucking all the stories, the fucking over 20 years of joy I've gotten from them. And it's like, I say these things, not like, see, GW, I told you. I'm like, come on, GW, I'm rooting for you, dog. Like, I'm dedicated, like, this entire fucking 100%. Reality. Like, yeah.
And, you know, we'll see what shakes out, because a lot of the major changes GW made in the 2000s and the early 2010s, 2010s, whatever you want to call them, were necessitated by financials. So they follow the trends, and, you know, we're just not at that point where they have to make a change. Well, we might be there, but they may have done it. But I think we're either there or we're very close, and we'll know in June.
We will. And
somebody will know. And
this is an annual conversation we have, man. Honestly, like, people who are new to the price hike game.
So I don't really care.
No, I don't care about it. Like, I raise my prices as often as I can get away with. It's my shit, and I can arbitrarily set the value of what I do. I don't have a problem with that. That's not like, but I absolutely look at my spreadsheets and I'm like, I feel like I can't get away with this. I'm gonna have to do something about this. You know, like I don't just keep brute forcing things that I have evidence that.
I think the thing that made Warhammer the most affordable for me is I very quickly realized that, like, impulse buying stuff that you don't need is a mistake. When you only buy what you need or what you can feasibly accomplish using your hobby time before buying something else, Warhammer is incredibly affordable. It's really not that bad. So, I mean, just like, if you can just stop the whole idea of like, oh, it's my pile of shame, and just keep adding to it. Like, just, if you stop that mentality, then, like, you'll be fine. Like, those models aren't going anywhere. Like, they're not, if something is new, they're not going to discontinue it next year. It's going to be a part of their lineup for the next decade.
You'll have time to get it. Like, that's the whole FOMO thing. But But remember too, like a lot of those piles of shame is why GW's in this place thinking we're just going to keep doing the same things we're doing. And the problem is that people have changed their habits. So
yeah, no, that's solid point.
Just try it out, man. Like, don't get anything for a little while, or only get things if it's like relevant to.
Yeah, you don't have to quit the hobby because it went up in price. If you just change the way you approach it, you'd still exactly as affordable as it once was. Like, but you do have to deprogram the FOMO. Like that's not easy, and I acknowledge that.
I'll be honest, like this Custodes army, it was like the most affordable army I've probably ever bought. And that was because I bought it over the period of like 4 months.
Preparing for this day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of setting arbitrary prices, if I could take a moment to advertise myself, and setting a fictional value on your and then also telling you that there's a new value because there's a perceived discount. I listed my Creature Caster Engine of War. You guys see I painted that online?
Hells yeah.
So that's the only one that I'm aware of on the internet, because it's not even fulfilled yet, right? They did their pre-orders and they're still fulfilled.
Their pre-order just closed on Thursday.
So yeah, the pre-order on the
today?
Today? Yeah.
Recently.
So
today or yesterday.
That's finally, I've been waiting for years for Creature Caster to do a piece of chaos hardware. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just a demon, which I love their fucking demons, but hardware. And so it's totally not a chaos war dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's exactly the same fucking size as a fucking armature. It's so fucking dope. There's 2 of them. They're amazing. The pre-order just shut down. They're still fulfilling. I got the web exclusive. I gave 3 away and painted 1. I even have the one that was the first one out of the mold.
Nice.
So it's pretty ballin'. I did it. There's a series on my Patreon page. You can follow along. I got it closed out in 14 hours of paint time.
That's a lot of pain.
Yeah. But also that's highly accelerated because it's really easy to spend 50 hours in a model like that, But if you follow the procedures that me and Wyatt and Rob all advocate for, and you kind of just keep your eye on the prize, you can close out a super complex kit utilizing some strategies in 14 hours instead of 50 hours. And that video series is on my Patreon right now, and I'm actually selling that model on my web shop, on my hereticswag.com shop. And actually just slashed the price. So it's a value. On a price on a price I made up.
Value.
Just putting that out there.
Did you still had the Blood Angel jump dudes?
Yeah, I put them up there too because I don't need 30 of them anymore. And so I also just slashed prices there. So new value added, baby.
Yeah, they look good.
Thank you. But I forgot that I was supposed to tell people about Creature Cast on the podcast, and I hadn't done that. Oops, Mr. Pre-order. At least I talked about it on the Twitch show while I was painting it.
Well.
Whoopsies.
January, February or early February is just wild for a lot of people, I think. Crazy weather, crazy things going on. Now it's middle of the month, Super Bowl, Valentine's Day. We're back at it. Warm weather. I don't know. Hopefully everybody's.
It was hot. It was warm 2 days in a row here.
Yeah. Hopefully everybody's going to have a good rest of the day.
72 and 71 yesterday and today.
Nice. Fuck yeah. It was hotter here. It was 90 degrees in the valley yesterday.
Ew. Gross. Get out of here.
It's not a Texas 90. It's a high desert 90.
Yeah, but you have LA garbage.
We actually had a clean air decks yesterday too.
Really?
Yeah, we opened all the windows.
That's the most surprising thing you said.
Huh.
Yeah, it didn't smell like hobo feces and stuff. Or nice. Just
what a blessing.
My feces. So we got to shout out some patrons.
Yeah.
Yes. We had some new signups over on the Long War Patreon. So I want to give a shout out to them. Monstro Morty, Sean Milbank, Matthew Butcher, Christopher Stearns, Alex Davies, Roy Hood, Little Lebowski Urban Achiever, Heath Hooper, and I saved the best for last.
Oh, I know this one.
Steve, Lord Commander of the Iron Dragons.
Nice.
Thank you so much for joining the
Saw that one come through. I was like, this is awesome.
Fantastic handle. Love it.
There's some legends on there. I recognize some of those names. Mostro Morty is a big supporter. Yeah. Matt Butcher. That's OTP HGZ. Good friend of mine. Thank you, guys.
Monster Morty gets me my semi-daily cat meme.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also
cat
shout out
video.
to Monster Morty. He like hurt his knee today, so like hope you feel better soon, brother.
Oh no. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How many patrons we at now?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Since none of us are logged
Getting
into the
closer to
page right
100.
now.
Oh, you're not logged in?
I closed it
Yeah,
after I wrote down the names.
because we have all that 2-stage authentication.
I think I can still go right back to it. Where do I see that? Let's see. 86. 86.
Ooh, we're getting there.
Getting close. Getting close to some t-shirts.
100 patrons, and they said that they would authorize us for annuals because we have to prove that we're like actually exist or something. And once we unlock annuals, we will unlock our t-shirt promo.
They didn't specifically say it. That's what the consensus is online for legitimate is 100.
So
Fingers crossed.
fingers fucking crossed because we really want to unlock annuals, and we have a really cool idea for custom t-shirt fulfillment.
Hells yeah.
And don't worry, you get your shirt up front, not after a year.
That sounds like value.
Yeah.
Yep. I really hope people think it is too.
And we totally won't spend any of this money irresponsibly on booze at conventions.
I mean, we just blew through all of our Imperious Seth fucking booze money, so we need
Yeah, dude.
just went to LVO, son.
Damage there.
You should GPS Asheville, see if there's a Long John Silver's out there.
There.
If you guys
It's
could
close
stop
to
at
the
a Long
Shoney's
John
we stopped
Silver's
at.
and get a fucking selfie.
Okay. We will definitely stop if there's like a picture op, but I will not set foot in the side.
No,
I think it's actually
I don't want you to eat there. I value you guys. Like I'm saying, I want a picture of you in front of.
Oh yeah, we totally will.
And maybe go in and just see if you can buy a shirt from their shop.
A shirt? Okay. Just walk and be like, yo, you guys sell t-shirts?
So
wrapped Long John Silver's.
that Shoney's we stopped at, Kenny, is actually on the way. Is literally on the way to Cherokee.
Oh man, I gotta see this.
Oh, you've never been to a Shoney's, right?
I didn't know they existed.
Oh yeah, it's
I
still
mean, you
there.
saw
Just
Rick
look
and
it up.
Morty when they were at a Shoney's. Remember, that's his whole thing when he's in the mind wipe and he's like, he's like,
yeah.
it's a Shoney's.
Syrup.
Oh man. Maybe I did, but I just assumed it wasn't real because
I see.
I thought it was like a gag or something.
It
Like
is a gag, and he's like,
sounds
the
kind of like a
second
made
you
up.
relax your mind, he's like, Shoney's.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
Yeah, we'll like stop at Shoney's.
Yep. It's on the way.
Yep, definitely. You'll love it. Make sure you can time it for a breakfast buffet.
Ooh, I don't know.
Because the Shoney's all you can eat
the
breakfast
afternoon.
buffet is the literal opposite
to-
of the Long John Silver's all you can eat
Yes.
fish buffet.
Because we have the drive time, I'll have to plan to get there so that we can drive in and not show up at like fucking.
It's got a
11
3.9 Google review.
3.9? I mean, in
3.9.
North Carolina, that's basically perfect rating.
Oh, wait. It closes at 3. Wait, is that?
3 in the afternoon.
Oh, is that a bunch of old people in that town? That's pretty classic Shoney's.
Ugh.
Because it says like popular times and then it stops at 3 o'clock. It starts at like 8 a.m. It stops at 3 o'clock. Oh,
Damn. Well, maybe you'll find a Long John Silver's to eat at instead.
we could stop there going back to the airport on Monday, maybe.
Fuck you.
I don't know. Whatever.
So let's talk about the Eldars.
Yeah, dude.
I read on the internet that Avatar can one shot of fucking Warhammer 10.
Yeah, we'll get to him. Let's talk about Malgan real quick because Malgan Ra is pretty cool. He's got his new model coming out. Looks super metal, and he's got a pretty spicy gun. The Mao guitar.
Oh fuck yes.
You take that back.
I love the name, the Mao guitar. So it's range 36, very solid range. It's got assault 6 shots, strength 7 -2 damage, and it procs mortal wounds on wounds of 6.
Oh goodness.
So pretty solid shooting gun. Its melee is okay. You know, it's more of a gun. It's just like +2 strength, -2, 2 damage. We don't know how many attacks he has or like what his strength is or anything. They haven't shown that off yet, but it's a solid gun. You know, the Dark Reapers are a shooting unit, so it makes sense that his gun is like more baller than everybody else's. He's got a rule called Doom Incarnate, where when he kills a model, that model counts as double for the morale phase. So against some of the units that might have lower morale, he can really like jack them up that way. And then he's got this new rule called Favored of Khaine. And it seems like all the Phoenix Lords are going to have this blanket rule where they have a 4-up invulnerable save. They have a 3 wounds per phase cap, which is super solid for characters. But they can never have a Warlord trait or a relic. Not super surprising since named characters can't have relics.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible that they have the damage mitigator. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, even if they have 6 wounds, let's say, it keeps them from getting like 1 shot in a shooting phase or something.
I mean, fuck, if they have 4 wounds, it keeps them getting 1 shot.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, pretty solid for the.
So that Phoenix looks like Lord. All the Phoenix Lords are going to get that rule. You think?
Yeah, seems like a blanket rule for the Phoenix Lords.
Damn, I'm jealous of that rule, bro. I'm like, fuck. Cool. Are Phoenix Lords that baller?
Yeah. They're like, I don't know. It's somewhat nebulous. I think the lore has changed over the years a time or two, but like the last time I was kind of reading into it, the Phoenix Lords are sort of like they're almost like a spirit that can inhabit different warriors. Like, they have the armor, right? Like Karandras is not the OG first Karandras. It's like the armor of Karandras. And if an aspect warrior puts it on, it kind of like takes him over and the spirit of Karandras like possesses them for the duration. So the Phoenix Lords don't ever really die. Like you can take them out, but if another aspect warrior steps up, then they become the Phoenix Lord.
We do know who the first Karandras is.
Karandras?
Yeah, Karandras, right? I mean, like,
I assume that was his name.
Isn't it Drazar?
I don't know.
I thought
Drazar was Drazar.
No, Drazar.
He's a Dark Eldar, so he like fell?
No, he was. He just was like, I just like beating people down.
I just like wearing people's skin on my face.
Oh, he just changed teams?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Didn't know that.
But he's the only one. The rest of them, I guess, like died and stuff.
So who's in his spirit armor?
Some guy.
I mean, like
Bob.
Does he put the spirit armor on and he's like, all right, let's do this thing? And then they're like, yeah, let's go in here.
I don't know.
I remember there was a couple of novels that focused on a guy who became a striking scorpion, then he eventually becomes Karandras, and he like loses his sense of self and all that stuff. So he puts the armor on. Maybe. Those were like old though. Those were like 2008, 2009 timeline. So he's pretty cool. Let's talk about the Avatar. The Avatar is balling out of control. He's got all these new options in his dope plastic kit. If you were at LVO, you may have seen one. They had one up on display at the GW retail location in the vendor hall. Super cool model.
It looks like it's going to be on like 105 or 110.
Oh yeah, he's much bigger.
Because he looks about 8 inches tall if you compare him to the other stuff. Pictures.
I saw it in glance. Like I glanced as I went by, so I didn't stay and look at it or snap pictures. But he's significantly bigger than he used to be. Maybe not like overly large compared to the Forge World one that's been around for a while, but he's like slightly bigger than that one, but significantly bigger than the OG one. You know,
for sure.
He's smaller than the Forge World one.
No, he's bigger.
He's a little bit bigger. Yeah, not like a huge amount bigger, but he is slightly larger than that.
Oh wow.
And he's got like a bigger stat line to go along with it. He's 10 inches now. You know, he's strength 7 and toughness 8, which is a pretty big deal to have on a big guy like that.
Yeah.
He's got 14 wounds instead of 8. So he's right at that good point of having like a solid number of wounds. He can't be like character blocked, but he can use obscuring terrain. Like it's pretty good from keeping him on the table for longer than one turn, right? He's got 7 attacks and a 2-up armor save. And then the Wailing Doom weapon has some new spicy business. Like a lot of these new big models, he's got like a smash profile and a sweep profile. So on the smash, he's going to be ×2 strength, so strength 14, -5 AP, and a spicy D6 +2 damage.
That's brutal.
And then on the sweep, it hits twice for every 1 attack, so 14 attacks. It's -2, 2 damage.
Oh, he still has a 2 damage sweeper?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he is nasty. I imagine his points cost is going to go up significantly to be commiserate with all these new rules.
So they're saying
4-up and vulnerable.
I think we've seen it. It's 270.
Oh, 270. Yeah, he has a 4-up and vulnerable, and he cuts damage in half, rounding up.
Wait, he slices damage in half?
Yeah, he's got that rule.
How many big guy models have that rule?
Abaddon, Marnius, Calgar.
No, they're not big guy models.
I'm just saying those are the only ones I know off the top of my head. Ghazghkull has
not in half.
No, Ghazghkull has the perfect
wound
ability.
Yeah,
he has a wound cap, but he doesn't cut damage in half.
Because obviously the wound cap is really powerful. And I was wondering if he had it, but no, he has a half his damage. Not bad.
Yeah,
what a fucking beast.
He's spicy. I mean, I think he's supposed to be made of like a solid like construct of like metal that is then like moltenized when he gets possessed. Like he's a really durable wraith construct.
Yeah, that's probably the rebranding of his like melter immunity and flame immunity, right?
Yeah.
Like just cuts damage.
It's his molten form. That's what the rule is called.
Yeah, that makes sense. That was his like, I'm immune to flamers and shit. Like, no, instead it just has damage. What a beast.
And if you saw I forget the name of the episode, but there was a Hammer and Bolter where you see the remains of an avatar on that craft world they go to. And it's just like this huge, he looks like a giant fallen solid copper statue. Now that the spirit of Khaine left it.
Yeah, that tight. In chat, I was actually just doing the math in my head. Malik Jones from YouTube says half is very similar to Morty's damage reduction,
right?
Plus funeral pain, right? So it doesn't, just like Mortarion, it doesn't apply to 1 damage. So if you're doing 1 damage attacks to Avatar, that's great. If you're doing 2 damage, it's halved. Okay, tight. So that's Mortarion's best place to live is when someone's trying to do 2 damage attacks to him, right? Because he halves it here, he reduces it back to 1, and then 33% of those he ignores. Well, Avatar is not going to be able to ignore any. But when you get to the 3 or the 4 category, like that heavy hitting shit, like some of this new Tau shit perhaps, he takes it to 2. Just straight halves it. And that's like disgustingly resilient plus an auto pass on a funeral pain. Like, so he's, because he still takes 2 damage against 3 damage attacks, right? So that's like disgusting resilient. He takes 1 versus 2. But when you start getting to that ridiculous shit, it starts paying dividends, So it's pretty interesting that he has that ability. He has 14 wounds. He can still hide, spring it out, come at you hard. And he moves 10 inches. I love this guy. He's only 270, so he's sub 300 points.
Well, remember, his base is already like basically 3.5 inches wide, and he's moving 10 inches. Like, that's a lot of reach.
It's always 10 inches from the front of your base, but I wonder if he has aura capability or he has any buffs, and he displaces a lot of board.
We have the data sheet.
Oh, we do?
For the Avatar?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let me go grab it.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, I'd like to know what else he has on that data sheet, because right now, if you basic math, no rerolls, nothing.
I wonder if he has battle focus or not. That'd be.
I don't think he does.
Oh well.
He averages about 20 to 23 damage against something like a Chaos Knight. Right?
That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage.
So like if you factor in his Melt-a-Blast, he usually, and the Knight fails its Ion Shield save, he usually, with just regular math, will kill a Knight. So a Knight Titan, like a straight Knight, like not a Warhound Titan. But his damage ceiling is vastly capable if you just hit and wound and roll a bunch of big dice numbers. Like he can do like
he does that battle focus.
Oh, he does. Oh, wow.
Woo!
What a fantastic rule.
So what is battle focus still do the same thing in the new book?
Similar. It's a similar idea, but it's very wordy now. And since I don't have it in front of me, I don't want to
I got it
poorly.
10 inches from the base must be nice. That's right, Disflex.
JPEG.
Yeah,
Making me scroll down. All right. Let's see. Oh, battle focus it's not explained on his sheet. This model can never have a relic or warlord trait. Molten form, we saw that. Kane, awakened aura. Well, a friendly Azur Tani core is within 12. Each time a combat attrition test is taken, you can ignore any or all modifiers.
He used to have a fearless bubble. That makes sense.
Okay. The bloody handed. Azur Yanni core within 6. You can reroll charge rolls. And then burning something. I can't tell because it's blurry. When this model is destroyed, roll a d6 before removing it from play.
burning demise.
Oh, demise. So
It explodes on a
6
on
for
a
D3
6.
mortals. Okay. He has battle focus and
Strands of Fate, so you can get
Strands of
the
Fate.
rerolls.
Okay.
So Strands of Fate gives him the rerolls?
Or not rerolls. It's you get this dice for you rolled this dice at the beginning of the game. You get it for this thing, whatever thing it might be.
Battle focus.
Explain
is
that
in
more.
this article.
Hold on. I'll verbatim it.
Okay.
1 second. Well, I'm battle focused. Let me tell you what that is.
Yeah.
If this unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it advances. This unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it advances, but if it does so until the end of the phase, they can only make attacks with assault pistol weapons. But it's also treated as remaining stationary. Kind of cool. Then your shooting phase, if this unit has finished making its attacks, unless it fell back or advanced, it can do a battle focus move, roll a d6, and now it can make a normal move of the distance of the inches equal to the result as if it were your movement phase. Unit that makes a battle focus cannot embark in a transport and is not eligible to declare a charge.
So he can move, advance, and advance again?
And you also cannot battle focus if you arrive from reinforcements, and you cannot make more than one battle focus move per turn.
Oh, okay. So this is starting to make some sense now, because the Wailing Doom, when he's throwing the spear, it's an assault weapon. It's assault 1. So while you're kind of doing your setup to eventually get him stuck in, he can like move in advance and throw a spear, and then like do a battle focus move to like get back behind a piece of obscuring terrain. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it seems like it's a follow-up move. Yeah.
I guess you could.
Yeah. So he's got all this like stick and move potential while you're kind of working your way up the board.
Yeah, you can like peek around the corner or just like touch the ruin and then battle focus and not touch the ruin.
Yeah.
They're also not they're not fearless around them anymore, but you can reroll charge distances within 6 for core.
Yeah.
And core within 12. It's basically fearless, but you ignore any
yeah, he's got similar traits. So like,
yeah.
So that's, battle focus is pretty cool. I didn't know.
So
that's an awesome mobility spell, moving 10 inches and being able to like advance, throw a spear, and advance again. That's pretty sick.
Mm-hmm. The Strands of Fate thing is kind of like Zinch does in.
So you roll
AOS.
a dice, and that's the special number.
You roll 6 dice. So to start, hold on, let me read it. At the start of each battle round, you make a Strands of Fate roll. To do so, roll 6d6. You can retain a number of these dice depending on the size of battle you're playing. So Strike Force is 4 dice. So you get to keep 4. So you roll 4. You roll 6 dice. You get to keep 4. Before making a roll for any of these types shown above for a unit with a Strands of Fate ability, if any of your retained dice have a corresponding with the type. bad typo by GW. As shown above, they may not use to manipulate the roll. This battle round, you can manipulate the roll if you do. Okay, anyway, so if you roll a 1, you can manipulate the advanced roll. If you roll a 2, you can manipulate a charge roll, 3, psychic, 4, hit roll, 5, wound roll, 6, saving throw.
Okay. Sort of get an idea of how that works.
Yeah, so if you you don't roll a dice. So if you're like, oh, I got to make this wound roll, you don't roll it. You just like
use one of your strands of fist.
This is it. Yeah.
So you roll. But the dice has to.
So does one of the dice you keep have to match the save, or do you substitute it?
You substitute it. If it's only 1 dice. If it's 2 dice, if the dice roll more than 1d6, treat one of those dice as an unmodified roll of 6. Then roll any other dice and add the results as normal.
Yeah, this seems really complicated if I can't read it for myself.
It's bad. It's actually got some typos in it. Any of the types, if any of your retained dice have a result corresponding with that type of roll as shown above. I don't know. Well, the way the Zinch one works is you roll the same thing. You roll those dice and you just hold them, and you can use that 6 for whatever you want, which is way better because obviously a 6 is better in some situations.
Yeah, it seems like that's the same similar mechanic. So he's got some more movement shenanigan potential. More. Yeah. You know, he can get out there, man. He can move around. He can stick and move. He only costs 270. Like, woof, what a beast.
Well, we'll see if he makes an impact or it's going to have to adjust him.
I think it needs to be. I mean, I'm all about badasses being badasses.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Avatar's kind of been meh forever. Well, recent memory. It'd be cool to just see like murder shuffling across the table.
I would be so ecstatic to see some Avatars on the battlefield.
Yeah, dude.
What a sick model too. Like he's always been cool. Like,
and he's got all the different ways to build him. 3 different weapons, 3 different heads.
The Eldar Codex is shaping up. I think Sean's going to have a really good year.
Sean's really good at this kind of play style too. So
yeah, he's been rocking an Avatar already.
So you're going to have Craft Worlds, Harlequins, Inari, and these new Corsair guys all in one codex.
All his favorite shit
with each other, right?
200-page book there, saying.
And we don't even know what any of the Corsair stuff does. So like,
we got the rules for them.
Okay.
They're going to tease them tomorrow too.
I don't read rumors and stuff. That's your job. But
I haven't been wrong in a while.
It does seem really cool, and I think it's going to be a pretty wild dex.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Eldar market because, like, obviously I have Eldar PTSD from 3rd edition, 4th edition, 5th edition, 6th edition, 7th edition, 8th edition.
Eldar have never come out and been bad ever.
No,
they've always come out and been busted.
Like it gets good, it's good, and then it gets left behind a little bit, right? Yeah. But then they always get, and so. But the thing is, they're dope. They look cool. They're like the original cool non-human race that has cool tech that we used to play against, and they need new cool models. And I'm really happy for all the Eldar people out there getting these new cool models. I look forward to playing against them and seeing them on the table. It's amazing.
I'm sure their psychic phase is going to be heinous. It always is.
Yep.
That's the thing that worries me, is their psychic phase.
Yep. Always a little concerned. They've always had shenanigans. But I mean, I'm really happy, man. I might need to get this fucking Avatar now. Like now
I was planning on getting one. I don't think I'll get one right when he releases, but I do eventually want to paint one just for fun.
Yeah, me too. I mean, he's a beast. I mean, I love his rules too, man. Like solid set of rules. But I mean, is that it? Good, covered the new spicy Moggen Raw and
that's it.
Avatar.
Yeah.
Talked about Long John Silver's, check.
Shoney's,
check.
Not so much about. No, I think we covered everything. There was some poop in there.
And next week we're not going to be live with the podcast, but there will be a podcast.
Yes.
Wait,
is it next week?
It's the weekend after.
Week after. So
after.
The week of the 23rd.
Okay.
So we're going to pre-record the podcast, but it'll still release. We're just not going to be live.
Okay. So it's a week before that. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I didn't fuck that up. All right. Well, Wyatt.
Rob.
I'm going to look away when you tell me things so I don't giggle. So I'll make a funny face. First off, thank you to all the supporters we've gotten recently over on Patreon. If you think about giving us a little support, a little walking around money, a little beer and gluten-free goodies money for some of these conventions and things we go to, head on over to the longwar.net. That'll take you right to our Patreon page where you can get some exclusive behind-the-scenes discussions before the podcast, and other funsies from time to time, and submit questions and things on here. So become a veteran of the Long War today.